Hi, everyone. My name is Georgette Truan. I work for attorney Vincent Davis, and I am the host of Fight CPS World Talk with Miss G. And I have two special guests here today with us, Miss Treasure Mahia and Miss Brown.
Hello.
And I had the pleasure of speaking with both of these ladies, and they're wonderful people, really, truly wonderful people. Um, and I want each one of them to be heard. So I'm gonna start with you, Miss Brown,
Okay.
and then I'm gonna after you, I'm gonna start with Treasure, and um, and we'll go from there. So this show is gonna be a little longer than an hour because I want Treasure to also have an opportunity to speak as well, and I don't want to rush her. And I believe a lot of you guys are gonna have the opportunity to understand their story and listen to them, and just to let you guys know you're not alone. Everybody's
Yeah,
fighting this ugly fight, and I always call it a spiritual warfare because
it is.
honestly speaking, you're not fighting against flesh and blood. These people, these social workers, are truly demonic individuals. There's nothing good about these people,
Right,
nothing good about them.
right.
Miss Brown, I would like to give you the floor, ma'am, and please share with us your story.
Yes, ma'am. Hi, everyone. Okay, so back in 2022, I've been a foster parent since
Mm,
2014, and I don't had over 78 plus kids in and out of my home, and I adopted one. You might well say I adopted two of them
mhm,
because one, the 17-year-old I had in my home, her caseworker went to her job when she turned 18 and
mhm,
talked to him to sign herself out of care, so she
Mm,
didn't have nobody. My daughter, one of my oldest daughter, took her in. Her and her fiance took her in, and she, as of today, 24 years old, still called me mama, and I'm a grandkids to her kids. But the cost of what started this all, I've been, like I said, good foster parent. I had two boys in my home. The Casa lady know that, I'm the type of parent I always try to. I'm not the foster parent. I'm always trying to get the kids back home. So my thing is, she was like, coming in. She know my kids. She know the kids. See where they room at. Everything. Have no problem. But all of a sudden, you come to my home. You had made a statement to me. She made a statement with me. That's a Casa lady. Made a
mhm.
statement and said that she was gonna see to it that this mom didn't get her kids back. And I'm like, why? I said because she's been doing. She's a manager over an apartment complex. She helped me out with her kids. Well, she won't leave that husband to her, so I'm gonna see to it that she don't. So I went to court with the mom, and I talked and told the judge how good the mom was and stuff. So I guess the Costa lady didn't like that. So
Mm,
my 15-year-old son was at home by himself. He's homeschooled. So he was at my daughter had just left, went to work. He's homeschooled, so she come to my home. I told her when you bring the kids, they remember they just got to doing my evaluation of my home, so I was good again for being a foster parent.
mhm,
So the caseworker, the kids caseworker came to the home that Tuesday, saw the kids before she left and went out of town. So the lady came on the Thursday, Casa lady. She went to my home and I said, okay, she said, I'm on my way to your house. I said, okay. I said, just don't go in my home because my son is there by himself. And I don't, he's already nervous being there. Oh no, I know I can't go in the home. I just leave it on the porch if he don't answer. I told my son it's okay to get this for him to open the door since she know him, just to bring the boy and stuff in the house. And I just said she not to come in the home. So what she did, my son is very vulnerable and he's very nice and he's respectful. So she said, "Oh, let me help you take this bag up in the house." Okay,
mm,
so if you help him take this bag in the house, I got a toy room on one side and a dining area on the other side. Why did you go to the next room and go up the stairs with my son just to take a bag upstairs? That was a no-no. Then you start questioning him. He said his heart was beating so fast. He had open heart surgery in 5 months, and he's 16 now. But um, you did this thing and to get in my home, and then explain and tell and reported me saying my home was in a deplorable state when she come to my home. I have pictures of what my home looked like the day she came. And the Casa lady came and no, my caseworker came the next day and somebody, I need to see your home and asked her who in my car and stuff. I said, this is the 18-year-old that y'all talked and signed herself out. She, I keep her kids while she go to work. So, but the thing that really, really getting me is now you did that. You said the kids couldn't come back to my home and stuff. October the 7th, the same year, 2022. You said the kids couldn't come back to my home. Okay. So you took them out. You say you close my home. Okay, you close my false home. So here it is, November, and stuff like that. Still I'm trying to figure out. I need my grievance. They didn't give me my grievance. She said I had to have administrative review. I had
Mhm.
an administrative review. In my administrative review, my caseworker wasn't the one on the call when we had it, but the lady was doing the investigation. She was on the call. So
Mhm.
they were doing all this talking and, saying whatever. So I asked the investigator, I said, so when you came to my home on October the 7th, you didn't come the day that my caseworker came. But when you came on October the 7th, was my home in a deplorable state? And the lady was like, oh, no, she can't answer that question. She already answered that question. I said, no, this is my meeting and I need to know, was my home in a deplorable state when she came? She,
Right.
oh, no, it wasn't in no deplorable state. It was just clutter. And it seemed like somebody was cleaning up and the house was, seemed like it was cleaned up. Okay. So remember that. She said my home was not in a deplorable state. And seemed like somebody cleaned up, which it was. My daughter got the boy stuff and she clean up everything, or because we were going to my grandbaby's to Perry Fair, I guess, to go to take her for her birthday the next day. I said, well, you got to get all this stuff together. Okay, so everything looked like it don't die down or whatever. After that, after my administrative review, back in and now in January of 2023, the investigator said, well, I need to come by your house and see you. I'm like, for what? I said, my case is closed. I mean, my home is closed. So why are you coming to my home? So all of a sudden, all the foster kids are gone. My daughter, she had moved out. So it was just me and three of my youngest children at the house. So I don't got rid of stuff and, everything is great. So all of a sudden the investigator, the investigator came to my home with a preservation. The preservation lady was like, oh, um, I'm here because she gonna help you. The preservation, she gonna help you clean your home, and she gonna help you if you need any help, and to see the kids, and if the kids need it, we can help them go through counseling. I said my kids already been going to counseling for years, for behavioral health. I said, so what do I need her for? I said, she looked like she about the same age as my oldest daughter. And it's nothing we can talk about. Let's talk about why this woman walked in my home. Let's talk about the little girl that was y'all took out of my home, the 2-year-old and her 4-year-old, and y'all put her in the home. And the mama, the other lady that y'all let get through this, being a foster parent, killed the 2-year-old. She's dead and gone. Tell me that. Let's talk about that. I said, so we can't talk about that. Ain't nothing we can talk about. I said,
Mhm.
you can come and see the kids. You can come and talk to the kids and see the cleanings of my home. You can do that. I said, but I'm not going to sit here and have a conversation with you. She said, well, if you don't have a conversation with her, we're going to just take you to court because you got to speak to her. I said, no, you can't make me speak to her. I said, you can come and see the kids and see my home. You cannot make me talk to her. Well, we'll see you in court. I said, okay, we'll see you in court. See me in court then. February 15, 2023, I had to go to court. When I was in court, I was trying to tell the judge, I showed him pictures of what my house looked like because they said a cat was pooping on the counter. I said, no, the cat is in the cage. And you see the cat in the cage. And he said that, well, the investigator got on the stand. She said, oh, yeah, when we got to her house, when we came in her house, the house was filthy and clothes everywhere. We were tripping over trash and tripping over clothes. I said, oh my God, is this the same person in administrative review just said my home wasn't in a deplorable state? But she appeared to the judge as saying she tripping over clothes and trash everywhere. But you just said in the administrative review that my home seemed like somebody cleaned the home up, was cleaning the home up. So how will you be tripping over something if the clothes is everywhere? Okay, so the judge is gonna tell me, well, we're gonna just have y'all. I'm not putting her through parenting class, but I could just have y'all come and see the children and see the cleanings of the home. I'm like, for what? She just sit here and lied, but nobody want to listen to me. So I've been trying to call for lawyers. They know I can't afford a lawyer. I've been trying to call lawyers. I've been trying to, call the juvenile court, try to figure out who her boss is. And when they tell me, they say, well, you just got to get a lawyer. Why do I have to go through this? And she lied. I said, I got a recordings of her saying this. And I have pictures of my home. So why in the world do I got to keep going through this? Why do you all have on my record that maltreatment to children? Why is this? But I don't had over 78 plus children in and out my home. Y'all begging me to get kids. Oh, I'm the supervisor. I can put this one in here. It's fine just for a night. If I'm that bad person, why are these kids in here? Well, they said in 2012 I spanked a child, a foster child. I never lived in Georgia until 2012. So I wasn't even a foster parent.
Wow.
This from you why other foster parent here to say they close their home. They said they close their home for no reason because they said when they close your home, all of a sudden stuff start popping up that you don't even know about. And see, that's what they try to do with me. They talk to the lady that's over the state, that's over the foster care. They don't have
Hmm.
with her without me being present. They have meeting without me being present, so I won't speak. They know that I know the truth, and they know I have proof, but nobody want to listen. Nobody want to listen to me. But this is how they treat us. You be a foster parent, and when you come to them and you say something on them knowing they wrong, they're gonna retaliate. I have
Hmm.
caseworker. I had a child in my home. She wouldn't told the mother that I told them that she was standing on the corner. They said she's supposed to be in the rehab. I'm like, no, the mama right there on the corner, trying to get money and stuff. She wouldn't told the mama. But what she didn't know that the mama and the auntie found out who I was. They was talking to me and telling me everything, told me everything about my kids in my home. They
Mhm.
was telling me about, they didn't even know me, but they was telling me about me because the caseworker done went and told them things about me or told them that I said different things. That's confidentiality.
Wow.
This is what,
Hmm.
this is what we go through. This is what we go through a lot.
But
But
what everyone does, I hope everyone got this information correctly. When I spoke to Miss Brown, the retaliation, first of all, is real. Miss Brown was retaliated against
Hmm.
because she stood up for what's right and she defended a mother in court, meaning she did not see anything wrong with the mom. She said the mother is good. She's a good mom.
mhm,
She doesn't see anything wrong with her. But because she did that, the social workers retaliated against her.
Right.
Just like the workers retaliated against the attorney. An attorney that is defending a mother in court, they went after the attorney's children.
Oh
So
my God.
this is not just mothers alone. This is attorneys attack too. They attack
Mhm.
attorney.
wow,
And if we are not careful, if we refuse or we fail to see that these people are not our friend, oftentimes I hear you guys saying to me, hey, I have nothing to hide, so I was open with the social worker. No, no, that doesn't mean that you're guilty if you don't share anything with the social worker.
right.
That means you're protecting your rights, because what they do is they take whatever wording you said and they will add 200 fold to that meaning. They're going to reconstruct it the way they want to. They are going to make sure that you are framed, that you are the worst parent, you are the
Oh.
worst person in the world. Now, I am, I have problems with foster parents, right?
Mhm,
But when I spoke to Ms. Brown, she was not just any foster parent. She was just a
No.
woman that actually cared for these kids,
Cared. Yeah.
and she actually stood up for what's right. Miss Brown didn't do it for the money. She
mhm,
didn't do it for anything other than protecting these children, because she knows how it is to be a child,
Yeah.
stripped away from reality.
Yeah.
And when you are stripped away from reality, it does something to the child's psyche. And Miss Brown was an addition, to help them and to make sure that they are reunified with their family.
Yeah.
So there is good people, there's bad people in everything that we experience in life. It doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, it doesn't matter. Ugly
Yeah.
is ugly and good is good.
That's right.
But and oftentimes we fail to understand that not everyone is on your side. And we praise the good ones, but and oftentimes you're wrong with the what you think is good. That's what you need to understand. Discernment is so important, so you can be able to detect the person in front of you, so you can be able to distinguish between the real good people and the real bad people. Demons don't come out and say I'm a demon. Remember that they are disguised in a human body, and these people destroy others. And when they love money more than they love children, that is the root of all evil.
Mhm.
because you're stripping children away from good parents, good mothers, good fathers, good foster parents. Even I've met a few other than Miss Brown. I'm gonna mute you, Treasure, because there's a lot of like static in the background. There's a lot of good foster parents out there, and I fail to see that because the ones I dealt with, the ones I've seen, are against the parents. Period. But the good ones that I have had the pleasure of meeting, with Miss Brown is one of them. There's two others that I love very much, and they're not the typical foster parents. But again, you have to play your cards right. You have to be careful. You cannot assume that you're dealing with a good foster home. You cannot assume that you're dealing with a good social worker, because they're going to come after you so hard that your mind will spin. Your mind will spin, and they will deplete you from every chance you have to get your children back. But with Miss Brown, they didn't just destroy her, try to destroy her. They actually wanted her name to be destroyed in a way where she can never get a job like that again with children. All of that is because she stood up for what is right. So, Miss Brown, you're a perfect example of what innocent is. And honestly, I feel so bad for you right now, but don't give up. And there's hope. There's always hope. But when we doubt, we doubt God's work. So there you have it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Um, and I would like the people to listen to the rest of the story regarding after the social worker went to your home, and the same social worker said your home is not deemed to have children, because it's messy, which is a lie. Then what happened after that?
Well, what they did after that, they, like I said, they took me to court, and with my three children, even though that investigator wasn't the one that come the day that my RD worker came and took pictures of my home without my permission. She
Mhm.
put in my closing statement, say she told me that I could take pictures. She didn't really just take my daughter. My daughter was said, "Mama, I was in the kitchen cleaning," and she told me to get out the kitchen so she can clean the kitchen. But I have pictures, and I show people the picture. They said, "How many kids you had in there?" I said 7. Plus my grandbabies came over there because I kept them during the while their mom worked at night. I kept them, and I slept on the couch with each one. They was babies, 1 and 3, something like that. And what happened is they say, "Oh, they put in there, oh, there's somebody sleeping in the living room." So that means I can't even sleep in the living room with my grandkids, but the foster kids have their own room. They tell me if I got some oranges or bread on the counter, I need to move that. Or why you got that many couches, or why you got this. I can't have my couch. I can't have oranges sitting on my table or on my counter. You tell me, or if it's in the morning, you supposed to been wash the dishes. Come on now. I'm a grown woman. I have this many kids, and I know I do my chore list. But the thing is, they took me to court, and after she said that, from February of 2023 to August to 2023, that's when they finally closed my case. But they had me appointed me a lawyer. So when that lawyer got there, they was talking to me. The woman that's supposed to be with me, she wasn't been able. It was a guy, and he was like, they told me I could bring my witness and everything. I brought my witness, but they never talked to my witness. He was, how you write stuff down for the lawyer to see. And when I wrote stuff down to the lawyer, I was like, she's saying I got a dog. I said I don't have a dog. Or she's saying that I said I got a recording of her saying that my home wasn't in the Florida state. Can you say something about that? He said, try to throw me off. I'm like, you supposed to be my lawyer? So to me, they was all working together. Yellow gave me a lawyer. That's why I couldn't find a lawyer. That's why she said, well, no, we gotta work with you. We working with you. We don't work for defects. We work for ourselves. No, y'all work for defects. Because when they got through, when the judge said that he was gonna have them come and see my home and to see the kids or whatever, talk to the kids, they was back when they got through, they was in the background smiling and laughing, right? I mean, if I could have recorded it, I would have showed it to you. And the the lady that was doing the preservation girl gonna say, "Oh, what, Miss Brown? I need to see you and the kids tomorrow." I said, "No, you won't be coming to my house." Well, do I need to go tell the judge? Tell him what you want. I said, because I'm gonna call your supervisor and tell her I don't want you in my home. Find me somebody else because you back here laughing like this is funny, you know. So they came and see my kids. My kids got tired of them coming to the school, asking them the same question. So I had another meeting with the directors and stuff. They called it my grievance, which it wasn't my grievance. I needed a meeting to tell them how they treated me. And that director was asking them, well, how long y'all supposed to have a home open? She get ready to move into, move out of this home. How long y'all plan on having it open? Can y'all have the supervisor and her supervisor go to her house and check? They did that. Came to my home, didn't have no problem. The kids saying the same thing, and they good. Ain't nothing wrong with them. If I was as bad a person, why would I adopt a child? My baby is 7 years old. I got him when he was 6 days old. Why would I adopt a child? You know. So this is how they treat you now. As of today, I've been still fighting to talk to somebody. I said, look, I got recordings, I got pictures. I need to talk to somebody. I don't call their office and tell you how fast they work. I talked to one lady that was over the, having agreements, and I can't remember names, but she said, well, they're supposed to get back with you. They're supposed to have a meeting with you. Have they called you yet? It was a week after I talked to her. I'm like, no, nobody called me. She said, well, let me find out because they supposed to have a meeting with you. So I ain't hear nothing back from her. I'm keep calling. So I call Ossoff. It seemed like every time I call somebody, somebody from defects are called quickly because they know I don't talk to this person. They contact them. So when I called Ossoff, and I was talking to the lady what was going on, because they was talking about how they put the kids be in the system and they just put them out there on their own, and some of them they don't know where they at. I got one of them right now. You gonna have her sign herself out, and you through with her. She been in there since she was 18 months. Now she's 24. Y'all don't care about her. If it wasn't for me and my children taking her in, she wouldn't have no family. You know what I'm saying? She don't know her dad. Her mom was in and out of jail, so she don't know nobody. You know what I'm saying? We her family. My mom is her grandma. This how I work. This how I am with my kids. But for them to keep putting me calling, and like the lady that's over the state of Georgia,
Mhm.
Candace Burst, whatever
No,
her
no,
name
no, no,
is.
no. Don't mention names, babe. Don't.
Okay, I'm
Yeah.
sorry. I may be saying the wrong name anyway. But the lady that's over the state of Georgia, they talked to her without me being present. And I've been trying to write her and everything to let her know that they wrote me, they had a meeting without me being there to speak up on my behalf. So that's what I'm going through right now. I can't. It's stopping me from sleeping. I'd be depressed. Blood pressure high and all this stuff because I try not to think about it, but they keep, you know, throwing a wrench in a way where I can't talk to nobody, or tell me to get a lawyer and I can't afford a lawyer.
Exactly. But I want to touch up on something you just mentioned earlier.
Mhm,
She told the social worker to leave and she was going to report her to her supervisor.
mhm,
Many of you know that doesn't work. Why? Because the supervisors are the one that's running the show.
mhm,
Oftentimes, you guys don't understand this. A supervisor is the one running the show. I mentioned to you guys several times about the two girls, young ladies that I had the pleasure of knowing for over a year now. They resigned from the department in California, and they showed me text messages, emails, everything. A social worker, for example, will say the home is clean, everything is great. She will go to the supervisor. The supervisor makes that social worker remove the child and put that child, oftentimes, depending on the child's home, they will put that child either in a placement home or a child would be put in an adoptive home. Now, we all know that if a child is adopted, they get more money from the federal government. If it's in a placement home, that's a legal guardianship where the parent will pay child support for the rest of the child's life. I mean, not the rest of the child's life until the child is 18. Okay. So they will literally steal your children, place them in a home where you have to pay child support and not see your own children. That's how screwed up our judicial system is. So be aware that it doesn't matter what you tell a social worker that you're going to complain to the supervisor because they don't give a damn. They don't, literally, they're not scared.
Well, I was lucky to get another preservation lady when I
Doesn't
talked to
matter.
her.
Doesn't
Yeah,
matter.
yeah,
That when they're after your kids, they're after money. When they're after money, there's nothing you can say or do to justify yourself to them, because no matter what, you're going to be guilty in their eyes, because without your children, they will not get the federal funding. Put that through, all of you guys who are dealing with CPS, put that through your head. They will come after you hard, just like a, how can I say it? Just like a loan at the bank, right? When you take a loan, they're going to come after you. Believe me, they will come after you to collect their money, right?
hmm
Same thing with social workers. It's just the only difference is you can file bankruptcy. With a social worker, what are you going to file? Bankruptcy? There is no such thing, right?
right.
So, but they will come after you. And children are way much more valuable than anything in this world. Anything. And that's how they see it in their eyes. Children, your child is valuable to them because that's their bread and butter.
hmm
But they don't fear God, they don't fear judgment, because they are literally possessed by demons. Remember that. They're possessed. They will never do anything right for you or your child. So, again, do not attack a social worker by threatening, saying, I'm going to report you to your supervisor. Don't do that. It's not going to work. Okay. It's just going to make it even worse. And that social worker is going to come after you harder than you could ever process.
Well, I guess I would look at this one because she sent me somebody else, and the lady came out. That same lady, she came out to my home. She didn't have no problem with my home either. She said she don't have no problem. She said she had been put in for them to go ahead and close my case. So yes, so they was the defense were trying to hold it open, but she was closing it because she didn't have no problem with my children or the home. So that's what. So I did get another preservation. The other lady that she sent out, saying she ain't had no problem out of my home. So then they brought the supervisor and her supervisor to my home. They didn't have no problem with the home either.
Mhm.
But yeah, that's what she told me. She had already put in back in April before August. She had put in for them to close the case, but they didn't. They kept trying to pull it out for them to keep talking to the kids and asking the same question. My kids, what 13, 12, and 6, and they got tired of them asking the same question. They're like, "Why y'all?" They were like, "Mom, they asked the same question. Do I have to keep talking to them?" You know.
Mhm.
So I say you can't. Nobody can force you to talk. If you don't want to talk, you don't have to talk. And they,
And I want you guys to also remember this. Attorney Davis explained that to me a while back. He said that your child has rights, meaning if your child is 13, for example, and the
mhm,
child is in a foster home, your child has rights to choose who they want to be with.
right.
Okay. But that's oftentimes they coerce the child, like for example, like they would say to the kid, I'm going to get you Apple phone, iPhone, I'm going to get you this, I'm going to buy you this, I'm going to do this, blah, blah, blah. Then that kind of, for any teenager, if you really think about it, all they want is social media phone, like a phone that they can be on social media with, or a
Mm,
tablet, or whatever the case may be. They start buying them expensive things, and the foster home is basically controlling these kids. Now, remember that this is so this is happening everywhere. And
mhm,
oftentimes you want to talk yourself out of it by saying, nah, it can't be. Social workers are are there to help our children. Social workers are there to protect our children and abuse children from the abuser. Exactly, all that. However, if you really watch the news, you watch social media, you see that the abused children are the ones who are kept with the abuser,
mhm,
right? And then the other children who are really not abused, or they're not damaged by the parents or anything like that, they are the ones they're focusing on. So that's why it's important for you guys to understand. You might have this misinformation in your head about social workers' job, but what you guys don't understand is that their humongous incentives is what's keeping them from doing the right thing. Okay.
mhm.
And that's when you become a victim of CPS. So, um, Ms. Brown, go on. I just wanted everyone to understand that you threatening a social worker to report to her boss or his boss is not going to do you any good. Go ahead, Miss Brown.
Yeah, I really didn't threaten her. I just told her she wouldn't be able to come to my home. I was gonna just talk to her, talk to her supervisor to send me somebody else because she back there laughing and she feel like they got the upper hand and you can just do what you want. But
Right.
but I was the lucky one to say, when I called her, I told her what was going on, and she sent me another person, to come out to the home and everything. But they never had no problem and stuff. But my thing is though, what do you do about um an investigator that wasn't even in your home the day they said that the home's supposed to be in a deplorable state? But how could she say this on? You recorded saying this, but you go in front of the judge and you telling him a different story. How can that? How can you do that? And the judge don't listen. Don't want to listen to you when I'm talking. He didn't really want to hear what I'm saying. He was just hearing what they said. Then I asked them call my witness in. They wouldn't even call my witness in. He asked, did I have a witness? And I told the guy, I'm like, I have a witness out there. Well, they ain't gonna need it. They ain't gonna need it. Really? You know? So this is how we get treated. They know you don't have the money to fight them back. This is what they do to you. But that mom I was telling you about, she got her kids back in December, but she had to get her a lawyer. That's how she was able to, she had got a lot of money to try to get her kids, and she got her kids back, and I'm happy. I had another parent, for some, parents, a husband and a wife. They was getting ready to lose all three of their children, but they got all three children back, and
Hmm.
they still in my life, you know. So I have a lot of kids still calling me, asking how I'm doing. They grandparents and stuff asking how I'm doing and everything. So
Well, actually, there's Zayan that said that I was her foster child from 2017 and still her child now. She is a great foster parent and shouldn't be going through this. This is how Henry County defects treat foster parents and foster children. Um, and Zayan, I just have other news for you is that in every county in the United States, in every state in the United States, that's all they do is destroy families. That's all
mhm,
they do. Destroy kids, destroy families, destroy homes. That's what their job is to what? Destroy, steal, and divide. That's all. And confusion is in the myth of all three.
okay,
Okay. And that's all they do. They're pathological liars and they will not like you standing up to them. You guys, if you guys watch all the social media, uh, action videos from from parents where they're taping the social worker, and you should hear what the social workers are saying to them. Um, I work for the I what I can do whatever I want. That's exactly what the social worker said. I can do whatever I want. Um, because the state allows them to do that, right?
mhm,
They feel above the law. So oftentimes I tell people if you're older like me, in your mid 50s or older, um, you will understand back in the days when we were young in school, we never heard of such thing. Never heard of a social worker go to the school, all that. We had bruises on our knees when we fell. We went to school sometimes with a booger hanging out our nose, and you know what I mean, kind of like tired of sleeping halfway.
right,
um, that doesn't mean you're being neglected. That just means you're lazy to wake up on time, and your mom told you to go to school forcefully, right?
right,
But nowadays, you do that, and the social workers will become involved. They will destroy your life and your family's life and everyone around you's lives. Okay. So, oftentimes, in America, the ones who are not dealing with social workers or DCFS or CPS, they think you guys are bad parents. They think everyone dealing with CPS is a bad parent. They should never exist, right?
mhm,
False. False. Because in one of the text messages of that one of the social workers that resigned from the department from her supervisor, she told her, we don't bother with that home, that the children are not adoptable. Those were her exact words. The children are not adoptable. So I asked this individual, I said, what do you think she meant by that? She said they pick and choose which child is going to be adopted. When they have an adoptive foster home, they ask them, do you want to adopt children or do you want to have placement for the children? Please correct me if I'm wrong, Ms. Brown.
That's right. That's
Thank
right.
you. So basically, that's what the social worker that resigned from the department said to me. Exactly that. And Ms. Brown just confirmed it. That's what they do. They ask you, do you want to adopt or do you want placement of children only? So you, as a foster parent, choose which way you want, right?
Mhm. Yep.
If you want to adopt, then you have to have some kind of money in your account, meaning you have to be kind of like stable financially. But then when they adopt, they get the federal funding, which is increases to the social workers,
Mhm.
right? So
Right.
the whole time the child is in their custody, they get federal funding. So by the end of the year, they make over $1 million.
But we don't get enough, nothing to take care of the kids. No.
No, no, not every foster home. There's foster homes who gets paid under the table. My girls told me they get paid under the table if they do everything the social worker tells you. But
If you bow down to them, yeah.
if that happens, you're under their control.
Mhm.
Meaning you think you have something against them. You don't. They will never be fired. Right? So basically what it is that you might say, oh yeah, I'm gonna tell, the courts what you said and blah 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 blah. No, you can't. You can't because you're also agreeable to her, right? So, or him. So don't get yourself into a mess. So again, if you want to be a foster parent, do the right thing. If you don't want to be in this spider web relationship with the county and the state, I suggest you not be a social worker. And I'm
Right.
being truthfully honest with you. Unless you have so much money, a huge home, and you can hire 5 attorneys if you want, if needs be. That's the only thing I can say. Because if you can't afford an attorney, they're going to come after you hard. And they know you can't afford an attorney. Believe me when I tell you, they know you can't afford an attorney. So oftentimes they will ask parents the following: can you afford an attorney? And the parent will say, no, 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 I can't. And the parent cries, blah, 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 blah. Then they said, okay, well, we can assign you one. And then the social worker does this. When the social worker smiles like that, when you say you don't have money to get an attorney, believe you and me, you're in deep shit.
Right.
And I'm saying nice when I say shit. Okay. So I've learned so much from my girls. When they got a hold of me, they said, Miss G, we watched your shows and you are blunt and you say it straightforward. And I'm telling you guys right now that these people will destroy your home and your family. And God is bringing you awareness. Why is God doing that? Because God wants you to make the right decision. So don't put yourself in a hole and say, God, save me. God is always with us, but use your mind wisely. Be wise. Don't let your mouth have diarrhea, right? When you speak, do not don't retaliate against them thinking that you are in the right and they have no power over you, right? They don't have power over you, but you're giving them the power when you start diuretically, with a diarrhea mouth, you start talking because you shouldn't be talking to them. Anyone that comes to your home who's a stranger holding a badge, who in the hell are they? Right? Who are you? I work for the government. No, you don't. I don't know that. It could be a fake badge, right? It could be a fake anything. So don't. And don't allow them to come in your home without a warrant. Where's the court order? Where is your court order, right? So you need to make sure, again, that you have cameras outside your house and inside your house. Now, if you have a sign outside that says this house is 24-hour surveillance and they walk in your home, by law, they cannot tell you to shut down your cameras, right? I'm not telling you to give them a heads up because there's a lot of them who are airheads. They would just walk through.
Mhm.
But don't give them a heads up if they didn't see the sign. But again, I'm letting you know that you need to be careful. They're not your friend. If you say you have nothing to hide, that's fine. That's nice and dandy. But They can't force you to speak to them. And if they try to intimidate you and use bullying to force you to speak to them, and they say to you that if you don't do this and this and that, I will remove your children, okay, but still don't speak to them without an attorney. You have to get an attorney. Okay, always get an attorney, because they're not there to help you. They're not there to again to help your children. Money is what talks to these people. And they don't care about if you're Christian, they don't care about if you're Catholic, they don't care about if you're born again Christian, they don't care about if you're Buddhist, they don't care about if you an atheist, they don't care about it, they don't care. Everyone is guilty except the abuser. For some reason, the abuser always gets the child. Okay? And oftentimes some people disagree with me, but I'm sorry you do. I'm sorry you disagree with me, but they always give the child to the abuser because they want to go back and recycle that child. When they recycle that child, they're making more money from the federal government. I have seen that with my own eyes in writing. So no one can ever say, Georgette, you're just talking out of your butthole. I'm not. They usually put the children in the abuser's home to collect more money because they're going to go back and take those children again. So don't think you're favored for a long time, okay? Because there's an end for you.
And sometimes that's a sad thing to happen. You put them in a home where somebody abusing them, and you as a caseworker don't go in. You know how they come to your home and check the kids and have you undressed? They
Mm-hmm.
took two children, 2 and 4 year old, out of my home and put them in this lady's home that says she want to give back to the foster care, and she used to be in foster care. So her all together, her and her husband was
Mm-hmm.
abusing the children, spanking
Mm-hmm.
them, and this woman transected a 2 year old pancreas and broke her leg and everything, killed the baby, and was abusing the 4 year old too. What she was so scared to even say anything. But as
Mm-hmm.
a caseworker, I don't care if they're in a millionaire home, you need to go in there. And when you go do your visit, you got to see. You can't let that person say, "Oh, she's asleep, she's tired, she's sick." Okay, I need you to bring this child down so I can check this child. So you move them out of where they happy at and put them somewhere where they dead and abused. You know what I'm saying? This is another thing they do. And I heard you saying something about they put them in abusive home. Okay, this person abused and killed somebody else's child. They on y'all watch, but you gonna put them somewhere these folks gonna kill them. You know, and
Mm-hmm.
abuse.
Yep. And I'm just letting you know that no matter what you guys think, they're going to go against you. They're going to go against you. I don't care if you have wings behind your back and you told them you're a messenger from Christ himself. They don't care. They're going to try everything to destroy you and destroy your family. So please be careful, be aware, bring awareness. I tell everyone to bring awareness, and it's not happening fast enough. I guess I want it to happen fast enough, but it's not happening fast enough. Because oftentimes I get still people saying, Miss G, I've never heard of CPS. I don't know who they are, what they are. But I'll give you a true story real quick, Ms. Brown. I got a call today. That's why I was late to the show, from a young lady who the school teacher reported her to CPS in LA County, and I took the name of the school down and the teacher's name and everything, and I'm going to report their buttons, okay? Um, the teacher wants everybody in her class to be special ed. Now, her kids are not special need kids. The mother kids are not special needs. So when she told the teacher, "No, I don't, my kids are not special needs. They don't need to be labeled as, they don't need to be in a special needs class." And the teacher retaliated against her. She said, "Okay, well, if you don't want that, then remove your kids and take them somewhere else." Okay. Now, a few days later, the teacher notified CPS. CPS went to the school, questioned her children without her knowledge. They asked her 6 year old and 8 year old, "Have you been abused at the home? Have you this?" Da, 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 da. And they said, "No, no, mom and dad are not abusing us." So guess what? The social worker contacted her. and asked her questions. And she called me and she said, I'm scared. And what do I do? I said, never, ever, ever speak with them. I said, right now your children are still with you in the home, but they can come at any time to remove them. And I told her, please, I'm begging you. You need to make sure you stop the removal, because once it becomes an open CPS case, you're out of luck. Okay? A lot of people say, oh, yeah, it's expensive. No, it's not. When the kids are with you, it's not expensive to get an investigative, for a CPS investigative case. Not case, but a CPS investigative matter, because your kids are still with you. So what happens is, I provide you with Attorney Davis's information. You give it to the social worker when they contact you. That social worker has to notify their attorney to interact with Attorney Davis. So Attorney Davis will never, ever, ever speak to the social worker. Only on the stand when he or she is being cross-examined. Remember that. However, any interaction will never be with a social worker. Attorney Davis will have to speak to their attorney. Okay, which is just as bad. They're crooked. So their attorney will contact Davis, for example. Like oftentimes the attorney will say, well, I contacted Attorney Davis, but he never returned my call. Well, that's weird, because Attorney Davis texted your butt and asked you to call him, right? So oftentimes they will trick you. Oftentimes they will say, you don't need to hire an attorney. Everything is going to be okay. You have to take these classes. And once you take the classes, you're going to be just fine. You're going to have your kids back within 3 months. How many of you heard 3 months? I'm sure many of you heard 3 months, right? 3 months, do what we say, you're going to get your kids back. That's never the case. Miss Brown, I bet you anything, with all the kids she received, there was so much horrible crap on the parents that Miss Brown probably believed it at first. Then she wised up, and then she's like, wait a minute now. Now the parent doesn't, he or she doesn't act the way they're describing them to be, right? Miss Brown had to come to the realization that that can't be true, right? But oftentimes other foster parents will believe everything about that parent. That parent will be the scum of the earth. And that parent is not the scum of the earth. But parents will develop PTSD from all this. And then they say they're crazy. Well, you made them crazy, you idiots, because you're liars. You made them crazy because they're trying to work, they're trying to have a life. And God knows nowadays in California or America, period, it's so hard to be able to work and maintain a family, because we get paid less than what our rent is. Okay? Unless you come from a very rich family, then you have it made. But those ones are not touched. Okay? So again, be aware and be smart and know your rights before you open your mouth with a social worker, period. The schools are in on it. Schools, hospitals, and psychiatrists, children psychiatrists, children therapists are in on it. Nancy Schaefer, I have told you from the beginning of my shows years ago, I told you Nancy Schaefer was murdered. They say she was murdered by her husband. She wasn't murdered by her husband. Nancy Schaefer, she was a senator for Georgia. She lost her seat on the Senate, and because she exposed the Clintons and CPS. Therefore, she got death threats, and she was murdered, her and her husband, assassination style, in their home. Now, I want you guys to be aware. They think they're above the law because they do evil things and they get away with it. So I want you guys to understand that the government is aware of this crap. And don't tell me they're not. Watch The Sound of Freedom. The government is aware. He was a Homeland Security officer and he knows exactly what's going on. This is a true story. I watched that movie 18 times now. Everyone that comes over to visit me, I'm like, let's watch the movie. I want neighbors, I want them to be aware of what's going on. Okay? So keep your eyes open and remember that no one is your friend when it comes to the government, any government official. Be very careful. And the schools are not your friend.
Yeah, I know that because they talked to my son. He come home. He like, Mom, this woman coming talking to me. I said, was it a counselor or the nurse? He said, Oh no, it's one of those defects workers. And he was just 6 years old. He said, just one of those defects worker looking at my arm and asking me questions. Now knowing I ain't got nothing on me, he's just smart, you know. I told him to call you, because there's nothing wrong with me. But they did. And I called the school. I said, why was defects up here talking to my child? He hurt himself at school, but now they talking to him. She said, well, we can't call and let you know, but why y'all letting somebody talk to my kid? Elementary, 6 years old, and nobody, I'm not there. You don't need to do that. You supposed to protect my kid in the school, not for somebody to come and question him because he hurt himself at school.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Yep, I agree. Well, Ms. Brown, thank you so much for sharing everything
And
that
thank you for
you're dealing
listening.
with us. And I would love for you to come back again. I know that with Miss Treasure, I asked her to be a co-host with me because Stacy is, like everyone knows, Stacy is she's um oh my God, a doctor's assistant. So she's like a doctor, you know.
Mhm.
Is I would say yeah, same as a doctor, really. She prescribes, medicine, what have you, and stuff like that. And she works in the ER department. So she's a physician assistant and she's busy in the ER. Oftentimes, she's supposed to get off at 8 and she never makes it because there's emergencies all the time in the hospital.
Right.
So, but she will pop in, when she can. And I know she has 2 weeks off. That's coming up soon. She's going to start doing the shows with me again. But also, Miss Treasure is going to be part of the shows. She's going to co-host with me, and we're going to put a stop to CPS and this craziness that's going on. And we're not just talking; we're actually making a difference. You might not know what we're doing, but between me, Stacy, and Miss Treasure Mejia, we are doing a lot behind closed doors. Um, just be patient and do the right thing and don't put yourself in a bigger hole. Okay.
I just want my name cleared. I really do. That's all I'm, working on.
Yes.
Name
And
cleared.
and Ms. Brown, your name should be cleared because the hour I spoke with you, I got to know your character, and you're not. Again, if you were all of that bad, they would not have made you a foster parent, and they will not have placed children in your home all those years.
Right.
And all of a sudden, you're a bad foster parent. Give me a break. Retaliation is real, you guys.
Yeah.
Retaliation is so real. You get it from your neighbor next door. Yeah. Yeah, you get it from your neighbor next door. Okay. So if your neighbor knows, like for example, if you ask your neighbor to do not to do something that's bothering you in a nice way, they will retaliate against you because these people are evil.
Yes.
They're evil. Okay.
Hmm.
All right, Miss Brown. I will see you again soon,
Yes,
and
ma'am.
we'll talk to you later. Okay.
Yes, ma'am. All right.
Bye, Miss
Thank
Brown.
you.
She is so awesome. I love her so much. I really truly love her so much. Uh-oh, you're muted.
Oh,
You're muted.
hello?
Yes.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
Oh, I feel so bad for her that she's going through that right now.
Yeah, I know.
It's terrible. They do so much evil, and they're just. I am baffled by this whole entire situation with the department. I don't trust nobody. I am
Right.
coming up against them. I have written so many documents now, and they don't want me to go public, but I'm not afraid. And I have other families that I'm trying to help right now. Um, but I am definitely thankful to you and what you're doing because you just explained a lot to me. Thank you.
You're very welcome. So now you have a lot going on in the background. Can you is there like a window open, sweetheart, or
Let me check and see. Oh, go
you're
on.
in the car right now to get
My granddaughter.
yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
Okay.
it's the background. It's the background that's distracting. That's all. But you're fine now. You're good.
Okay.
So tell us
Yeah.
a little bit about your story. You're a grandmother in the matter.
Yeah. It starts on December 14th. The grandchildren, two grandbabies, were taken out of the home. My daughter was home sleeping. She was on, she had a CPS open case for being in a domestic violence relationship. There was never any violence done to the children, but she had a boyfriend that she had gotten into altercations with, and he to CPS getting involved in her life. But the crazy thing is that the children were safe at home. But on December 14th, they came in, they took the two babies from her, and these two babies went into foster care, and we started fighting on that day. I was at the house. My husband went to the house. We went to go try to, say that we could take the children. They don't have to go to foster care. I'm a good grandmother. I could take my grandchildren, and they would not let me have custody of my grandchildren. They actually fought against me and rather put them in foster care than to give them with family members or relatives. So that's the part that really, it disturbed me. It traumatized all of us because we're very close to our family. We love our children. And they would not give the children to me. They would not give the children even to the biological father, who was at that time separated from my daughter. And what they did was they just put the children, it was an order over the phone for violating a fake safety plan through the department that my daughter was supposed to be supervised. And when the supervisor left, they said my daughter violated the safety plan. So the whole thing happened because of a safety plan, which they said was a court order, but these safety plans are not court ordered. These safety plans are just put in stipulations done by the department. The judge didn't sign it. There was no paperwork. They had no warrant to go into her house and take her babies. I knew that it wasn't right. I stepped in and I tried to, being present, to give me the babies. And they would not give me the babies. They, one's in foster care, the babies suffered injury. So they had the babies for 41 days in foster care. Babies that had family members and relatives that they could have been staying with. And those babies were one of the babies was injured on January the 5th and January the 6th. The baby, number one, he was 1 year old. His name is Darrell Williams. I don't know if I'm allowed to say that, but the baby was only 1 year old, and they had injured the baby, and it was rushed to urgent care. And then on January 6th, they called and said the baby was injured. That was January 6th. It's amazing how the story went because they had contradicting days and injuries. So we don't even know what happened at all to the child. And it's been devastating to us. But we ended up getting the children back on January 25th. Now, there's an Article 1028 that was filed, but they convinced the father, even though he wasn't present during the removal of the child, to withdraw his 1028. The Article 1028 is an order to show immediate danger or to prove is a fact finding. I don't know which one exactly, but it would make them have to show cause to remove children. They didn't honor his 1028, and he withdrew it because they said he was going to not succeed in fighting against the department, that he would definitely lose the 1028. So that Article 1028 is very important because people don't know that puts them in front of the judge within 72 hours after removal. If you file the 1028, they have to show imminent danger. Well, when he removed the 1028 because of fear, they really operate a lot, Georgetta, on fear.
Mm-hmm.
And they bullied him out of his 1028. When he removed it and withdrew it, then it kept, they said they're going to give the children to me. So another thing that you are absolutely on point about is that they manipulate and they lie. So they told him, if you take the 1028 out, we're just going to give the children to me. Treasure. So the grandmother, maternal grandmother, and they wanted to come into my home, and I let them in. It was after court. Court was on Tuesday. They came into my home Wednesday. They said we would be back in front of the judge by Friday. So all of us waited with anticipation. I have a big nice house. It's 5 bedrooms. You know, it was all clean. You know, it's really clean. So they look at the house, but you could feel that they didn't care at all. The condition of the house, or any statements, they wanted everybody to give release forms, to do background checks, any adult that was in the house. So everybody did that because we're all saying, let's get the boys back. We just want the boys home. You know, this is their second home because I'm the grandmother. And I took care of them, though. I do childcare. So I had the boys during childcare hours. Also, they lived with me for 4 months before they moved to Saratoga County. I live in Schenectady County. Well, they promised to give the boys back on Friday. We get to court Friday. They said, Treasure has an old CPS case from 1996. Me. 1996. They said she has an Article 10. So we're not going to give the boys to Mrs. Clayton, or Treasure Mejia. And the crazy thing is that even back then in 1996, it was fake. All of this stuff that they said wasn't real. None of it. I can't hear you. I'm not sure why.
You said the wrong. You said the wrong name. So let's. Yeah. So Clayton.
My name.
Yeah.
That's
So,
my maiden name.
Yeah. So go on. Sorry. Go ahead.
No, you're fine, because my daughter is Elizabeth Clayton, and
No, you shouldn't say. You shouldn't say names.
Oh, no names. Oh, okay. So excuse me. Scratch the name thing. But the thing about it is that I was expecting to get the grandchildren back on that Friday. Well, when we get to court, the judge says attorney only. I don't have an attorney. They would not provide me with one. I didn't have money to afford an attorney.
Mm-hmm.
Now, here's the crazy thing is they have attorneys only, and they start talking about a case in 1996 against me, defamation of character and character assassination, and I can't defend myself.
But you didn't have a case in 1996.
In 1996, it wasn't about me. It was about my husband. They said my daughter had gone through something in 1996 at a pre-K, where she was touched, and I called the police. I had called the police, and then they tried to say that it was me and my husband. But I was the one that called the police. I called, and I was the one that took her for examination to the hospital. And I did everything as a mother that a mother would do. And I was young. I didn't know my rights. I didn't know what to do when they came into my house and said, well, we have to talk to you. We have to talk to your children. I have 5 daughters. And they tried to say, well, you know, a bunch of allegations that have no bearing, no evidence, no proof, nothing. They didn't need anything, just to say everything that they said, that my husband and me, yeah, we're doing stuff to our children. We were born again Christians, but like you said, they don't care about your religion. They don't care that you're good people. You know, they didn't care about anything. They didn't take custody of the children back then. If they believed something like that, he would have went to jail. He never went to jail. And my children were never taken out of my home. They knew that he didn't do anything like that. We had more proof that we didn't do anything to our children than they had, saying just saying stuff. They could pull it out of the air and say anything about people.
I wanna make a point.
Yeah.
What you said. There's a young lady that I spoke with today, and I know she watches my shows.
Yeah.
She's, I believe she's 19 now.
Yeah.
And she's a victim of her father sexually molesting her over and over and over again. That
Oh, God.
when she was 6 years old, told her teacher. Her teacher notified in LA County. Her teacher notified the school police or some cop went to the father's home.
Yeah.
Whatever. They did not even take the child to be examined down there, to be forensic examined.
Yeah.
Make sure that child was not touched. Then, as soon as the police officers left, the father bought a ticket to Honduras. She's also a drug dealer. The father bought a ticket to Honduras,
Wow.
took the child to Honduras, where she was family, and he stayed there, and he started doing the same thing to her that he did in LA County. She was raped so many times by her father. And then she reported it again to the teacher in Honduras. The teacher in Honduras opened the case, with I guess the police, and the father was put in jail. Now,
Mm.
the father, because see, CPS is saying that you guys are the reason, blah 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 blah. They're
Mhm.
not making the right decisions. Why? Because her kids at the time, they're good kids. They wanted
Yeah.
them, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Anyways, that girl told me her story was so bad. I just wanted to reach out and give her a hug. Then
Yeah.
she said that her aunt in Honduras said, if you take back your statement and get your dad out of jail, prison, we will not take care of you, because what happened to her after her dad went to prison, she went to orphanage, and
Oh
she
my
was not,
God.
they were not feeding her, she was not being clothed, and she was really skinny, all that. Then she, I guess, reached out to her aunt for help, and then her aunt said, nope, I'm not going to take you in until you get my brother out of jail, prison. So the child
Yeah.
lied to the court and said basically that, basically like she made up the whole thing or whatever. She was just under stress, like
Yeah.
under stress from everything. And once her dad came out, her aunt promised that she will not bring her dad at the house. Her aunt knew that he's molesting his daughter. She's not the
Wow.
only one. He molested his other daughter from a different woman. He's already
Mm.
used. Actually, he was 2017, 2018. He was caught again in a different state, and he was released.
Yeah.
He's registered as they have him on the state registry as a sex offender.
Mhm.
Minors.
Mhm.
And they released him in March 2018.
Oh
I
my God.
dissected this case from A to Z, and I told her, I said, I want you to write a story. Like, I need story. I want you, like you're writing a book. I
Yeah.
need to be able to present this to Attorney Davis in the right way, for him to handle her case. Now, again, social workers are not going to be focused on the actual abuser, because they gave the father, the children, even though the mother begged them and told them that he rapes young children.
And they gave it to the perpetrator.
Arrested the mother.
Mm.
The mother went to jail, and he was let go. And all the kids he had with other women. We're not talking about one or two children. We're talking about many children. He was raping them at age 4.
Oh my God.
Okay. So, and that man was released in 2018.
Yeah.
I couldn't believe my eyes when I was reading, and I can't. I
Yeah.
can't. I mean, to the point where he was raping his nieces.
He was a pedophile.
He was a pedophile. He's still a pedophile.
Mhm.
And
Yes.
he was released in 2018. So again, Treasure's story, I'm not saying it's similar. I'm saying who they let go. Who
Yeah.
they let
The,
go. They
the
let
real
go
the real pedophile. Yeah. They did not
pedophile.
arrest him,
Yeah. If
or
you
they
look
let
at
him
the
go.
news now, they're releasing all of them from jail.
They
All
are.
of
Yes.
them.
Yes. Absolutely.
Exactly. So therefore, we are held accountable for stuff we didn't do, yet you're releasing criminals from jail who are actually pedophiles and
Yeah.
placing children in pedophiles' homes. Come on.
Mm.
Come on. Really? So, Treasure, I had to put that in there because, again,
Yeah. I'm glad you did.
all these true stories I'm telling you guys right now all happened today. Okay? Go
Mm.
on, Treasure. Keep going.
So we ended up getting the children back
Mm-hmm.
because the judge saw that we weren't going to stop. We were relentless. We
Right.
went to the building of Child Protective Services every day. We called supervisors and the commissioner, and we called a lot of people. We put in grievances, but I also went public with it. And when I did go public, they actually threw the case, because he said it wasn't even his case, it was out of his jurisdiction. So because my daughter lives in a different county. So he throws the case back to the county where my daughter, resides, and the judge that got the case in front of her could not understand why they even took the children in the first place out of her county.
Who did you report? Who when you said you reported, who did you go to?
I went to City Hall. I took privilege of the floor. So they film it on it's a channel that everybody gets to see. I just wanted to go public. I went to social media. I went to Facebook. I put his name on everything, everywhere. And I started talking publicly about what happened to my grandchildren because I knew it was an injustice. I knew it wasn't right. I didn't know how I didn't even know how to fight these people. These people are not just people, they're entity. It's an entity. It is a demonic force that we are fighting with, not flesh and blood. So, spirits and principalities in high places. These people manipulate, they lie, they need no evidence. They can say anything that they want to say. You're right, they're not to be trusted. There's nothing good about them. There's nothing good. I believe their agenda is worse than I even know. I think you have more wisdom and experience, and so you know more about their agenda. But the connection to take two baby boys out of a safe home with the mother, they were sleeping on December 14th, ready for Christmas. Mm-hmm. Nothing. The father wasn't there. My daughter's fiance wasn't there. She was alone with her two babies. They came into the house like militia, like Gestapo or something, like in a weird way to come and take babies, saying she violated a safety plan.
Mm-hmm.
A safety plan.
A safety plan. Do not sign the damn safety plans.
We never signed anything. She didn't even sign it.
Oh my God.
She never signed any. We didn't get no paperwork. So that's the part that really got us because
she has a civil lawsuit against them. Let me tell you why. That right there is perfect. That's perfect right there that you mentioned that because there's nothing indicating that she signed a safety plan.
No, nothing.
There was no safety plan. So they only wanted the children, not for any other reason than getting them adopted or placed in a permanent home. Okay?
Yeah, that's what we felt. We felt that. The fear that came over us was that these two babies are a commodity. Mm-hmm. Monetary gain, monetary for money. We felt it because I do have some discernment because I am a prayer warrior. I believe in God. And God was talking to me at night. I told you I couldn't sleep. You remember, Georgetta? I said I could not sleep. At night, I would come write my notes, but I would keep, praying. But the thing about it is that I watched Vincent Davis. I started watching him at night, every night, all of his YouTube videos, his podcast. Right. Also, I bought the book. I have the book, How to Fight CPS and Win by Vincent Davis. And he helped me to gather some strength when I didn't know what to do. I almost gave up when they didn't give me the children on that Friday. I almost gave up and cried in the bed. I was crying. I was traumatized. I was devastated. But I went. Oh, it's okay. I went to City Hall. And I spoke out loud with documentation and said that they are kidnapping children. They're taking them over county lines. And this is what's happening in our community. And I want the mayor to know. And I wanted the city council members to know. And I worked with them before. I worked with them. So they listened to me and it went on air. I also went to, I was going to the county legislators meeting because it's county. So, my girlfriend from city council, she told me, she said, "This is a county legislator. You got to go to the county meeting." And when I went last Monday, they've been calling me now, asking me if I'm going to come in there and speak. So that's what I don't know, whether I should go in to the county meeting and read the documents that I wrote. I did go to the Board of Judicial Conduct, the Commission for Judicial Conduct. I wrote them 3 different times, very long paragraphs about what happened in that courtroom, how we were denied our due process, how we were denied our rights, our constitutional rights, our civil rights were violated, how there was no order for the judge to take those children except for over the phone. It was just like he was upset. He agreed with everything with CPS. Nobody could talk in the court. It's all dictatorship. You have to shut up. You have to listen to him, but you can't talk. And I don't have a lawyer. He never addressed my petition for custody. It was just, I think it's a smoke screen that they don't care about nothing except for their agenda, which is to kidnap as many children and make as much money as they possibly can in that time frame. And then they have their reviews that they do, but they still want to keep the child until it's ready for adoption, saying the parent is not deemed adequate or capable of taking care of the child. Rather, they use all types of lies for their agenda and manipulation, like the house is dirty, or whatever they're using. Abuse. There's no abuse. Children are not. We don't believe in corporal punishment. Our children don't get enough discipline. A lot of kids nowadays, they're undisciplined. So they couldn't really use that they were in imminent danger. There was no imminent danger ever present.
That's the only way to remove a child. If they're in imminent danger, that's the law.
That's why.
Yes.
Yes.
That's how Davis, all he cares about is evidence. Show me evidence.
Right. And there was none. There was none.
And he collects them when he goes to trial. But this evidence has to be presented to court, meaning there's motion that has to be filed to present this evidence into court as evidence, because how can he talk about something that wasn't there? Get it?
Right.
So it's very important for you to collect evidence. Right.
No, you're fine. I did videotape every conversation. We videotaped every conversation. We videotaped.
Not every state. Not every state. A lot of social workers will tell you, do not videotape me. Do not record. If you record them without their consent, unless it's a one-party state, then you're in trouble. Okay?
Is it not admissible? Is it not admissible in a court? Because I did it without their.
Unless you have an attorney that you hire with your own money that will, he knows what he's doing, to make sure that it is submitted into court as evidence, because these are social workers, they're government officials. They're not like you and me.
Right.
The government. So if it's a two-party state and somebody records me, I can sue them.
That's what they can do. Yes, we did it without their knowledge. But here's the thing: there's power of too much power given to them. So it's abuse of power, abuse of authority. They need to re-examine the law. They need to re-examine and monitor these caseworkers more closely.
They're not.
We have to make a change, because it's the pendulum is not going one way. It's supposed to swing both ways.
The only way that's going to be a change is if we all come together and stand together as one.
I'm ready.
And the thing about this is that the state legislative has to change. And you going all over social media is not going to help your cause, because oftentimes, like I said to you guys, I caught 5 social workers, 5.
Yeah.
Pretending to be victims, and they are child advocates. I have caught 3 people who were victims of CPS, but they're working close hands with the social workers to give them information so they can get their
Are
kids.
You serious? Oh my God.
I'm dead serious. I'm not going to name anyone.
No, I know.
God knows ugly, and God will expose ugly all on his own. However, I want you guys to be aware, social media is not to be trusted. Now, go to the state legislative. That's different. You're making yourself be known, and you're making yourself be heard. If all of us do the same thing, imagine that. Imagine that 100 parents are going in, and they're making a difference by exposing the ugliness that's going on. Go ahead, Treasure, because your story, your daughter's story makes me just want to anyway.
So they take the children, and the one baby that was injured, I did talk to the law guardian, and I told the law guardian, my son, my grandson, I mean, he's 1 year old, he was injured in the foster home. Can we get him out of there as soon as possible? Because I don't trust the foster home anymore. You know,
Right.
he tried to bring it up in the court, like the law guardian, very older man, and he didn't seem to care that much because he wasn't checking on the children at all. But he says to the judge that, you know, the child was injured. Where the mother says, where's the child going to be next? And the judge said, you know, to CPS, where's the child going to be? They said, same place. They kept my grandson in the same foster home where he was injured. They didn't care that he was injured there. And he was injured twice, not once. He was injured 2 times in the foster home, leading to me to worry more at night, knowing that I see a picture of a huge contusion on his forehead, and then he's rushed to the hospital because he's throwing up, urgent care, and I called I hotlined the foster home. I didn't know the name of or the address or anything, but the agent.
Uh-oh. Okay, so she's disconnected. She'll be back. Let me see. Okay. Somebody earlier asked me who the senator was that I was talking about. Um I forgot which one asked me that. Okay, here we go. So, Tashaya, the name of the senator is Senator Nancy Schaefer. Senator Nancy Schaefer. Okay. I guess her name is spelled as Schefer. I can't remember, something like that. But her name is, she was the senator for Georgia. And her videos are, they tried to bring her videos down, but there's a lot of videos still up. You should watch her warning to us. All the parents that she encountered were good, legit parents. Kids were not harmed. Kids were not, um, kids were not harmed at all. The kids were happy at home, and there's a couple of kids that they forced them out of the home with their T-shirt on. Kind of like they will say one thing, then they come back with the police and dragging their children forcefully, right? Um, they are using the federal funding not to help parents, because that's what the federal funding is meant for. They're using the federal funding to destroy parents, especially if your child is under the age of 6 or 5. The reason for that, if your child is under the age of 5, what they do is they want this child adopted. So if you have a newborn and CPS becomes involved, no matter what you say or do, they will not give you back, even if you paid for them. Even if you paid for a surrogate mom, you're not going to get those kids back.
Mm.
Let me tell you why. Because those are twins. You know how many homes want to adopt twins? So many homes. Because they
Mm.
want to nip it in the butt and adopt twins, and that's it. They don't want to come back and adopt more kids. Now, you have to understand, without the right attorney, a CPS defense attorney, you're not going to win. Because a CPS defense attorney, he or she, depending on how long they've been doing this, like Attorney Davis has been doing it now for 38 years.
Wow.
I said, you want to win over a narcissist, you have to get a cobra and
Mm.
devour them in court. I have seen Attorney Davis in action, and I'm telling you right now, that man, God bless him, may God bless him in every way,
Yeah.
because he does help parents. He does fight really hard for them. He's a cool cat when you talk to him, but in court he's a completely different species. Attorney Davis has a strategy that I don't want to talk about.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know his strategy. So when I give you guys warnings, when I'm on the phone with you and I say don't do that,
Yeah.
do it this way. That's basically giving you an idea of what will help you, right? For
Yes.
your attorney. And I'm not talking
Mm-hmm.
about the free attorney. They give you guys pro bono attorneys.
Mm-hmm.
Anything that's free, there's a catch.
That's right. They're no good.
They're no good. So please, 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 not everything that's free is good. Even free food sucks. Okay?
Yes.
I mean, let's be honest.
Yeah.
right? If you go to Costco, they'll give you little samples. You have to go
Yeah.
back again, and you have to send your kids to get you more samples because they feed you twice already, right?
Yeah.
So now that's free. Now those are good samples because I love Costco.
Yeah.
But I'm talking about when somebody gives you a chicken, a whole roasted chicken next door, and you don't know these people, there's something behind that.
Right.
So these court appointed attorneys, although they claim that they're overloaded with cases, that's BS. BS. Because the reason they have a job, they're going to get paid whether they help you or not.
Yeah.
You're not paying them, the county is paying them. What do you think most of the funding is coming for? Is for the attorneys that they provide you, for the county, for the social worker to buy
Right.
her Tesla and BMW.
Mhm.
Come on now. Social workers back in the day when I was in my, I don't know, when I was in middle school, my teacher used to, well, my teacher used to tell me that these people don't make, the people that work for the government don't make a lot of money,
Yeah.
right?
Back then.
Because that's what I wanted my career to be.
Mhm.
And she's like, what do you want to do? I said, I want to help kids. Because when I was very young, you guys know my story. I shared a lot of it on my shows, but I loved helping people. I loved helping children. So if a
Yeah.
child would cry, I would give her my doll, my
Me
everything, just
too.
to see her happy.
Yeah.
Uh, that's what I wanted to do. So she said, you would be great as a social worker. I didn't know what a social worker was. And I was like, oh, okay. But she said, they don't make a lot of money. And I'm like, like, what do you mean they don't make a lot of money? She said, oh, honey, you won't be able to make a living with that. That's exactly what she said to me.
Wow.
And I said, oh, okay then. Anyways, I chose a different profession, finance and banking and all that. And
Mhm.
kind of like, it hit me not that long ago. Like, why didn't I do that? I could have made a difference. I could have made changes, right? But then again, I would have been fired or framed of something I didn't do because when you expose them, they come after you like that.
Yeah. That's right. They do.
That's why the girls I know that resign from the department, they don't want to be known. They don't want them to be on um they don't want them to be on, on my shows because
Yeah.
they will come after their family because that's what they were threatened with.
So they can't air. They can't air what they know.
No, because if they do the report, they will come after their family because the supervisor told them anything that's leaked out, we will come after you. Because one of the girls told one of the supervisors that I will report you when she resigned. And that was the threat she had on her. So, with that being said, I'm letting you know when you become a social worker, you have to sign a contract with them that you will not leak any information out.
Wow.
Yeah. So the reason they do that, everything has to be confidential, is because they don't want to be caught. That's why when they newcomers walk in, they say, well, forget what you learned in training. This is how we're going to do it here.
Mm.
And just to let you know, these people, some of the new ones come in and they're like, okay, that's weird. Why can't we do it like that? But we have to do it like that. But then they start questioning themselves. The ones that do stay are the ones who enjoy inflicting pain.
Right. Sadistic. They're sadistic.
Yeah, they're sadistic people. Those are the ones that choose to stay.
Yeah.
With that being said, you have to be kind of like, don't think that every social worker is on your side. Again, the ones that cannot do this, pain infliction, the ones that resign.
Yeah.
You
They.
might know, yeah, about Carlos, something that on social media, he was the CPS investigative and he reported them. He reported everything they're doing. He literally threw them under the bus. And that's why he couldn't last in that department. He was the CPS investigative person that worked for that department and he exposed them.
Yeah.
And he even would say things like, the child would not say that the father hurt them, but then they will go and write in the report that the child said, my daddy
Yes.
hit me, or my daddy touched me, or my mommy doesn't feed me. And the child is as big as a house, but yet, how did your mom not feed you again?
Yeah.
So they're choosing, and when I say big as a house, not literally, but they're cute,
Yeah.
chubby, those chubby kids,
Chunky. Chunky baby.
yeah, the
Yes.
funky babies, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
And they're like, no, so they're not being fed. Like, really, really, dude, they're not being fed. So something like that if you have a current picture of your child and then they take them to foster home and they show your child all nice and healthy, guess what? And then in the foster home, your child is so skinny. So what they do is they put them in a foster home that's literally abusing the child.
Yeah.
They take pictures and they take it to the court and say, this is how we found the kid.
Oh my God.
Think about your case for a second. This is every one of you guys.
Yeah.
This is why I fight for you guys. This is why, even if you hate me, I'm still fighting for you, okay?
Nobody should.
But I'm just saying, even if you hate me, I'm still fighting for you.
Mhm.
I care about your children more than you think. So they will take the picture to the judge and say, this is how we got the child. You have to have pictures of your children every single day. You have to put it in a way where it shows the date and time, preferably on your cell phone. Take a picture every single day.
Okay.
Okay, and of your child before the child goes to school. I recommend that very much. Why?
Yeah.
Because God forbid if anything happens, God forbid, you have the before and after.
Yeah.
Okay, to compare and get yourself a good attorney because the teachers are making money from that crap as well. Every
Mm.
report made,
Yeah.
CPS, the teachers are government workers as well. Okay.
Yeah.
They get some kind of incentives where it goes in the teacher fund box. And at the end of the year, I mean, summer vacation, that's where the funding comes out and given to the teacher for summer vacation.
Right.
Okay. So remember that. So again, there's always a way to get money using children. And Nancy Schaefer said it. She
Wow.
literally said teachers, cops, um, um, the government, obviously,
Doctors,
right? All of
all
that
mandated reporters, right?
for everyone. Yeah, yeah, that is very true. So again, keep your eyes open and make sure that you take pictures of your children every single day. Every single day. And that's the best advice I can give you right now because oftentimes people say Mr. Davis is not helping me. I'm like, what how is that? Well, he needs to expose these people. And I'm like, Davis is not worried about exposing them right now. Davis is
Yeah.
worried about getting evidence from your butt so that way he can use it when he does cross examination. You guys have to understand evidence is important, but again, submitting your evidence into court accordingly on time. When it happens right away, your so called attorney has to file a motion immediately. Your court appointed attorney has to file a motion immediately. This evidence has to be submitted into court. That is so important. Okay. The attack, right? The Cobra attacks in the cross examination part. You can't even appeal if you don't submit this evidence into court, meaning you can appeal, but you can't mention any of those items that you did not file into court as evidence. That's why oftentimes your court appointed attorney will never file anything in court. They don't file it in court. They tell you they subpoena, they did this, they did that. No, it's BS.
Yeah.
They didn't. Because they know that if they file the evidence into court, they will be sued. They will be sued. And believe me when I tell you, they don't want to be sued. That's why they
You're
make you
right.
sign a paper saying that you agree to all the charges so you can get your child back. That's false. Court appointed attorneys are like salespeople.
Yeah.
They're salespeople. Sales, that's why I would never be in sales. Ever in my freaking life will I ever be in sales. What they do is they come to you and say, well, I'm in there with my secret meetings with the social workers and the judge, and I guarantee you, if you sign here say that you take full accountability, you're gonna look like the good person. You're gonna look like you've grown out of this. And well, I know you're innocent. I know you're innocent, but they have your child, and in order for you to get your child, you have to say you're guilty.
Mm.
Oftentimes, what 80% of the people, parents, they sign. They sign. That's more than half, guys. They sign because they want to get their kids.
Yeah,
They
yeah. They dangle them over the head.
right, but that's a trick. That's a sales trick. They only did that, right, to get you to sign that you're guilty so they can take it in court so you can't go back and sue them because you said you're guilty. How are you going
Right.
to sue us now? You admitted to the guilt. If you were not guilty, why did you
Would you
sign?
admit?
You're going to say, well, the attorney said no. This hearsay. Hearsay doesn't work in court. It only works with the social workers, with the
Yeah.
judge, social workers, the hearsay. But
Yeah.
does not work with the parent. Am I right or not, Treasure?
Yeah.
I
You're
mean,
right. Absolutely. That's what they did to us. They did
yep,
that.
yep.
He
That's what.
wanted his attorney to file a 1028, and his attorney convinced him that he was going to lose the 1028 and said, I can't file it until my future son-in-law kept begging him, I need you to file the 1028. When he filed it, he convinced him to withdraw it. So it didn't matter. He just didn't want it. I never seen anything like it in my life. It's not a real court. It's not even a real court.
I
It's
call it the kangaroo court.
the kangaroo court.
Hmm?
Yeah,
Oh,
you're right.
I have another name for them: the
What?
whorehouse.
Why?
I call it the whorehouse. Oftentimes, when a client calls me and she's like, "I have a whorehouse date today," I'm like, "Yep, I know."
Oh,
It's true because it's literally a whorehouse.
yeah.
Because there's nothing good in that courthouse. Nothing
No.
in any children court. Nothing is good about it. Why? At the end of the day, you're a bad parent. You exist. You're a bad parent. You exist. Now they're coming up with mother is just saying that so she can get child support from dad. Well, oftentimes the mother who is scared of the father who's abusing her and the children, she runs away. And when she runs away, you guys are accusing her for not failing to protect. Yet you give the child to the abuser, and the abusing child, the abuser parent is hurting the child worse than you can ever process now because he has
Wow.
control over her.
Right. And she can't get away.
You can't get
Mm.
away. So basically, the government, you guys are the reason why the American children are suffering. You're opening the borders for allowing CAP to walk in. Children are being sex trafficked. Most of the children are coming from the heart of California.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of corruption going on in our system, and we are choosing to look the other way because if it doesn't happen to us, we don't need to be involved, right? But if it happens to your butt, then you'll be like, interesting. I'm not a bad
Yeah.
guy. Why is this happening to me? Right?
Right.
Then you start thinking about all the people you judge in your
Yeah.
life, all the parents. Oh, yeah, they're bad parents. That's why they did this. Oh, yeah, you're this and that. That's bullshit.
Yeah. Yeah.
Bullshit.
A lot of good people. I met a lot of good people through this
Yeah.
fight, and now I go to court to support the other families because it wasn't enough that I got my grandchildren. I still feel for the families I met along the way that never got their children. One family children have been in custody of child welfare for 3 years.
Yeah.
And they're babies. So these people send me pictures of their children now. I brought another woman with me to my church, and her 2 daughters have been away from her for 2 years. So all these families that I've come in contact with, I stayed in contact with, and I go to the courthouse, and the attorney for the department sees me, and they don't want me there, but I'm there to show support, and I'm there to let them know
Right.
it's not enough that one of us get our kids. We need all these children back. You need to give us what the devil stole. We want them back. There's a lot of good parents.
No. The devil doesn't. The devil thinks he stole.
Yeah,
But he,
yeah.
See,
Yeah.
I'm gonna say this is not my prayer show, but let me just say a few words. I'm sorry if you're not Christian. I apologize. Don't listen to it, but this is what I need to say. The devil does not steal anything that God gives us. We give him the authority to take it from us.
That's deep. That's
What
real.
God, thank you. What God gives, no one can steal. If you're
Amen.
one-on-one with God,
That's right.
right? Oftentimes, our sin is what divides us away from God.
That's right.
Our sin divides us away from God. If you're divided away from God,
Then we
then
gave permission.
we
Yeah,
give.
we're out of the will. When
There
we
you
step
go.
out of the will of God too, when we step out of the will of God, it seems like things happen that are not supposed to. You
Yeah.
know,
But if you
you're.
notice, chaos increases
Yes, it
because
does.
God, after Christ was saved, our redeemed us,
Yes.
God gave us the choices to make. God, before in the Old Testament, He used to punish us right away.
Yeah.
Like if a dad saw his son almost jumping off the balcony, then he would pull him and like, "What are you doing? This is bad. What's wrong with me?" And he would hug his child like, "Oh my God, thank God you're okay." Like it's that kind of love that God has for
Yeah.
us.
Yeah.
He still loves us, but He gave us the choices to make. Either you do this, or this is the consequences behind your sin. Only because God is not a liar. He said your sin will be what? It's gonna
Found
hit.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Your
Yeah.
sin is what disconnects you from Him.
That's right.
That's why before He wanted us so safe that He was, chastising us right away.
Yeah.
Now, no, He doesn't do that ever since Jesus. So we don't know when He knocks on our doors, we don't open the door to Him. We don't. We don't. Remember this. A lot of people say, "Oh yeah, there's Satanists, there's this, they worship Satan." Well, if they worship Satan, that means God exists.
Right. Right. That's right.
Come on now. So if you guys don't believe in Christ or God, but you see Satanism, right? Sacrifices. This shit exists. This is real shit. This is
Yeah.
real.
Yeah. It is.
But
Amen.
God is
That's right.
opening our eyes, and we're still doubting Him. So it's kind of like if you don't pay attention to God and you keep on with your sins, you are literally disconnecting yourself from Him.
That's
Period.
right.
That's all I got to say. If you pray for money, I used to do that and I had to talk myself out of it. I used
Mhm.
to pray to God every night to win the lottery. The most I got from a lotto ticket was $5.
Me too.
Yeah. So I was cashing that so fast,
Yeah.
like I won $5 million. But again, God is so
He's-
good. He
yeah.
wants you to ask for discernment and
That's
what?
right.
Forgiveness.
Wisdom and
And
forgiveness and wisdom, and to be thankful for the things that He's already given us so we can be good stewards. And that's what I've learned, that we're stewards over these children,
yep,
but we have to protect these children no matter at any cost, at any cost. So I'm on board 100% with the movie, when he said God's children are not for sale.
right.
I yelled that in the courtroom. I yelled it. I didn't even know until you told me how much money they get for these kids. I did not know that. I just knew that I felt like it's a part of human trafficking. I told them that it's kidnapping. It's systematic kidnapping.
It is. It is happening. And people don't understand that because the people again who are not dealing with the state or the county, they literally turn the other one and say, "No, that can't be because my friends talk like that." No, 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 Georgette. No, no, no.
Oh no, that's what it is.
Social workers are here to help
No.
until I showed them proof, and one of them is watching right now. Until
Yeah.
I showed them proof, they realized, oh my God, this shit is real. And you know what my proof was? The two social workers that resigned from the department, I had to meet my friends and show them all. So,
Yeah.
what I'm trying to tell you guys, in order for us to make a change, we all have to have the same mindset, and that
Hmm.
our children is not for sale. Your neighbor's child is not for sale, even
That's
if you
right.
your neighbor to the core of your being, they're not for sale.
That's
No
right.
one's child should be for sale unless that child's parents are proven to be unfit 100%
Dangerous.
with
Hmm.
facts,
Yeah.
pictures, audio, you name it. But
Yeah.
here's some shit that the social worker can read the future. That if you return, this is what they say in court. If I, Your Honor, I'm reluctant to return a child to the mom or to the father because I feel like future threats are going to come.
Hmm.
Damn, really? You can tell the future? You gotta be a demon,
Yeah.
right? Then the judge will be like, This is, I swear, I've seen this in court. That's exactly what the judges do. Okay. They put that, like the file. And I swear, I don't think they read. I swear they don't read because they're flipping the pages so fast, right?
I seen the judge do that. The judge that was in our courtroom did that too. What are
Yeah,
they doing?
I know. This is just a fake facade. You guys have to understand they're pretending to care. You guys got to understand they're pretending to care.
Wow.
They don't care. Did I not say something that you witnessed already?
I seen it. That's why I couldn't believe that you said that, because I said it to my daughter. I said he was just flipping through the pages while she was crying and screaming. He started looking at pages, and he wasn't even looking at pages because he was just turning left and right.
Right. So basically, what they think when the social worker recommends that to the judge is going to agree to it because the judges also get the funding from the federal government. If you guys look at your end of the year taxes,
Yeah.
and the end of the year taxes that you
It's
have
always
to
federal.
pay,
Mm-hmm.
the federal is higher than the state.
Always.
Pay more federal than you do state.
Yeah.
Why is that? Because that millions of dollars, since you were filing taxes that they took from you,
Yeah.
it goes to the state anyways.
Wow.
So your Social Security funds also are taken from there as well.
Right.
Okay. So the social worker who go and remove your child, steal your child,
Yeah.
they literally drive Teslas and they drive BMWs mostly, and the older ones drive Mercedes. Okay,
Wow.
so I'm telling you guys, this is not a joke. There's everything about these people is to hurt you. The judge, if you don't present evidence into court, the judge, if you have an outside attorney that you hired, the judge is going to be reluctant to make any decisions because that outside attorney, especially like attorney like Mr. Davis,
Mm-hmm.
the judge knows that if these evidence are submitted into court and the judge is not taking action on it, you can sue. Right? So if there's an action of evidence, right? I'll give you a perfect example.
Yeah.
They said one of the parents takes the child in the back house and rapes the child. Okay? Now that was just an excuse because originally they took the child because the neighbor made a report that the dog was barking too loud. They had a pit bull.
Wow.
So they called the police. The police called CPS because they have a minor child.
Mm-hmm.
And then they took the child because they told the parents to kill the dog, to put the dog to sleep. The dog didn't bite anyone. He didn't hurt anyone because it's a pit bull. They said that they're concerned that they're going to eat the baby. And then the parents were like, no, we raised this pit bull with love. And,
Yeah.
he
Yeah.
even eats vegan food. Like literally these families are legit. Like they're very like one of those like Happy Days family. That's them.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
And it was just the neighbor hated the dog. The dog couldn't stand that neighbor. And I understood why after that, because she's evil.
Yeah.
So anyways, that's how they took them. That didn't work because it's not enough evidence, right? Because she
Right.
hides and stuff, right? So then they said, well, we also got a report that the father takes the child in the back house and they raped the child. Now, good thing that the parents already had cameras everywhere.
Right.
So the attorney asked on the cross-examination the worker, so what day and time was that? Look at your report. Tell me what day and time was that, right?
Mm-hmm.
Give me a day and time. Well, the parents had already evidence,
Yeah.
time-stamped cameras and dates.
Yeah.
That's important to
Right.
submit to court so your attorney can be used, so that your attorney can use that evidence. Also, it works for the appeal as well, too. Get it?
Yes.
Because the appeal, you cannot mention shit if you have no evidence that was submitted or filed into court to begin with prior to the appeal. Okay?
Yeah.
No new evidence you can talk about. Absolutely not. If it's not discussed in court prior to you appealing the judge's decision, you cannot mention it in the appeal. Okay? Now, that's important. That's how you do a great cross examination. You
Yeah.
have to cross examine what their finding is because they have no shit to prove
Right.
other than hearsay. Okay?
Yeah.
Then they compare it with the cameras because that showed the father was out of town on a business trip.
Wow.
Father never went in the back house because the back house had a leak. It's a guest house. It had a
Yeah.
leak, and he had a yellow tape at the back. The backyard camera showed the house, the
Yeah.
door with the yellow tape that do not touch this place
Yeah.
until summer, whatever, because it had a big leak where everything was covered with water, right?
Yeah.
So how is that again that the dad took the baby, his son there and did all these things to the son? And how did the neighbor know? Like, who are these people that's calling and reporting the parents? How did
Right.
they act like they live with you? They act like they eat dinner with you every night. They act like they know you. They don't know crap about you.
Right.
So
So
who
they
are
can fabricate lies. They can fabricate and create any. They could just do that, and that's
I'm
scary.
telling you, yeah, scary.
There's
Scary.
no safety. There's no justice. They don't uphold the law at all. There's no laws in that family court.
Look, I'm gonna say this. People will treat you based on what you're allowing them to do to you. You cannot use disrespect or force to speak to a social worker. That's not going to get you anywhere. If you tell a
Okay.
social worker, you can't do that because I will sue you,
No, I've
you're
seen that.
not allowed, but they use
Right.
force, meaning they use loud vocal voice and they use the finger and
Hmm.
that attitude. That's not going to help you.
No, I've seen them take a child because a woman went off. She went
Yep.
off, and I was trying to tell her not to. The next day, her kids were gone.
Yep. Yep. That's what they do. I'm telling you, they will retaliate against you, and you think you know what you're doing. It blows my mind. It blows my it blows my mind. If
No,
you're not
we don't.
Angela Jolene, sweetheart, don't think that they're gonna care.
Yeah.
Angelina Jolie, I think when she got involved with CPS with Brad Pitt, I
On the
think
airplane.
she had like 5 attorneys. Yeah,
Yeah.
they didn't take her kids.
No.
In fact, her kids were not even removed. If you don't have money to fight them, you get more with honey than vinegar,
Right.
right? So again, but if they want your children, they're gonna take your children no matter what. But do not go to them and say, "I'm gonna sue you. I'm gonna hire Attorney Davis, and Attorney Davis is gonna kick your ass." Right?
That'll
No,
just make them mad. That'll make
yeah,
them mad.
yeah. So now they're going to you give them the heads up. It's like you give them a gun, and you
Yeah.
give them a box of ammunition to take along with them, right?
Yeah.
You're telling them, here you go, just screw me some more.
Yeah.
Now they're gonna cover their butt more than you could ever imagine. Now they're gonna have all kind of testimonies against you.
Yeah.
But the judge is gonna see your demeanor, and the judge is gonna base it on your demeanor.
Okay.
Okay, so oftentimes we bite the hand that actually wants to help us, when in fact that hand wants to help you, while the other ones who are biting you and screwing you, right,
Yeah.
they're after to hurt you. So
Yeah.
God sends you people to help you, and what does the devil do? Distract you away from those people,
Right.
because the devil doesn't want you to be helped. The devil wants you to have
Right.
PTSD from the abuse,
Yeah.
more PTSD from the government abuse, and another, load of PTSD until you kill yourself.
That's right.
And that's how suicide happens. And people don't understand that happens from pressure and bullying. And the state pressures and bullies the United States of America.
That's right. Can I
Okay?
say something?
Yes, of course.
I do believe a lot of suicides probably took place. A lot of women went on drugs that children were taking. A lot of people fell into depression because
Yeah.
it's oppression of the people. I am still traumatized by what levels that they are willing to go
Yeah,
to destroy.
I know. I know. They will do anything. I mean, I look at you right now, Treasure, and I know you you and I spoke on the phone for a while.
Yes, yes,
But you look so just together. You're professional. You're not aggressive.
no,
You're just a concerned mother, a loving mother, and a loving grandmother.
yeah,
And but see, they will turn your goodness, your good heart into chaos because they put you in a position where you're like, if you didn't curse, you're gonna start cursing.
that's right. I did.
Yeah, you're gonna lose sleep. It's
Hmm.
gonna affect your high blood pressure. It's gonna affect all of that. It's not worth it. It's not
Yeah,
worth it. At the time, we don't think like that. We don't think that way. We think, oh yeah, if I show them I'm tough, I'm gonna get my kids back. If I threaten them, they're gonna get scared. No, sweetie. The only weapon you can threaten them with is your wisdom,
yeah,
your calmness, and hiring a cobra, right? A cobra that
and
will
that would be
devour.
Vincent.
Yep. That I'm being honest with you.
Me
May
too. Yeah,
God bless this man in every which way because he's in court. That man, he's great. I
I
swear to
watched him.
God, he's great. I don't care what anyone says. He's
Yeah,
great in court. I'm talking about his title as an attorney in
yeah.
court. He will look at a snake, and believe me, his strategy is to devour him every second he's looking at. You guys might not think he's doing anything, but his body language studying that person.
His demeanor is
And he's
watching. He's got that. He's got that
watching.
discernment.
There you go. Then when it's the right time to attack, that's when you will say, I'm sorry, Mr. Davis, I doubted you, but thank you. That's
Yeah,
what 5 clients did to him in court. And I go to court hearings with him, and you guys know that. 5 clients used to doubt him. And once everything is done and over with, all of them say the same thing. We doubted you, Mr. Davis. But you guys don't understand. In order for you to win, you have to use strategy that you might not think is working, but the other party might think Davis is stupid. But then Davis is not stupid because Davis wants you to think he's stupid and he's not.
that's right. Yeah, that's smart though.
That's how it goes. So you guys need to wise up, listen,
Yeah,
and
he uses reverse psychology.
oftentimes you guys hire us and you deplete your damn retainer by all the damn calls you keep calling, thinking your attorney is not working for you. When your attorney is trying to save your butt, so you don't
Mm.
exhaust your damn retainer for more money. And then you think the attorney's not doing his or her job or they should do it for free. Well, guess what? They have to pay their employees. They have to pay their damn bills, just like
Yeah,
you. If we get money from the county, then we're going to be kissing the county's ass, aren't we?
you don't want to do that. But
No.
filing paperwork, filing all those motions,
Yep.
and discovery, all of that cost money.
Yep. Exactly.
Yeah,
So you guys have to be very mindful how to win over demons because even God tells us not to use force. God
yeah,
said what? Put on the whole armor of God. Well, Davis had
amen.
the whole armor of God and more on him. So
That's
that's
right.
what you guys don't understand. Pray over your attorney. Pray
Yeah,
over. Do
that's
not
right.
do not let the devil come in here and hinder your thoughts because your thoughts is going to become your actions. And when it becomes your damn actions, you're going to lose.
Yeah,
Your thoughts, the devil puts thoughts. The thoughts becomes your action, your diarrhea mouth. And when
yeah.
that diarrhea mouth opens, you're going to lose.
I like
Stay
that. Yeah,
calm. Be calm. Because when you're calm, you're collecting all thoughts in order. If you're not calm, your thoughts are scattered, and the devil will pick and choose which thought he's going to use against you next. You
Right.
need to be mindful. You need to pray over your case, over your attorney. If
Yep.
the devil puts a thought, because oftentimes the devil will send you people to put thoughts in your head, those people are the same people that screwed up their case, and they trying to destroy a good name.
Yeah.
You have to be careful who you give ear to. Even Jesus said, guard your ears.
Yes.
Okay? You can't allow anything that you hear to affect you on the inside. So I want you guys to keep that in your head. And I pray for you guys every single day. I do. Some of you guys, I have a hard time breathing because I had COVID on Christmas, actually. And the after effect sucks. I'm having a hard time breathing. But keep that in mind, and don't allow the devil to distract you from what is to come. And what is to come is victory. Victory is so important because it's our thoughts that's going to create our destiny, right? Because again, your thoughts becomes your what? Your reality. That's when you need to stop that part because the devil tricks us. The devil cannot read your mind, but he can hear your words. Remember that the devil cannot read what's in here. He can only put thoughts, but he can hear what comes out of your mouth. That's
Amen.
why Jesus said, what comes out of your mouth is what defiles you. It's
Yeah,
not what you
right,
put in your mouth that defiles you. So
right,
the food you eat is not going to defile you. It what comes out of your mouth is what defiles you because the devil will take it and stop it from
right. Because he
happening.
says, out of the heart flows the issues of life. So,
Yes.
right. But Ephesians chapter 6 is what I did fall back on when I was going through this battle. It's a journey because it talks about the whole armor of God in
Yep.
Ephesians. You were
Yep.
right when you're saying that because there was a time I thought that maybe I might lose it or maybe I'm going to break down. People, I want them to know that they're not alone
Mm-mm.
because what I went through, how I felt, I don't want nobody to. I first I protect children. I
Mm-hmm.
protect children with my life, but I also don't want nobody to feel like they're alone. And
Mm-mm.
for me to even have the strength that I have, I'm a pretty strong woman. This almost brought me down. I
Yep.
I did say if the enemy was going to try to, do anything damage, this is it because I felt like I could have stress levels, a heart attack, um, just traumatizing, and debilitating. You don't want to get out the bed. I stopped working my job. I do CNA work, but the reason why I stopped working my job because I spent every day at the city hall and county courthouse and at the family court filing petition for custody, for visitation. If I could just see my grandchildren, I'm very close, like they're mine. Like I treat my grandchildren like I was in the birthing room
The
with all of them.
maternal grandmother is always the closest to the children. And I'm saying that from experience. You're right.
Yeah,
The maternal grandmother is exactly like actually my mom used to love the kids more than
yeah,
us.
yeah.
Yeah.
I have pictures of me with my grandchildren, but I don't think anybody could really see them because they are in this is
Don't
me
show it.
and
Don't show it. Don't show it. Don't show it.
oh,
Don't.
okay. But yeah, I'm sorry. But as close as we were, I established relationship and they said if you establish relationship, there's something in 50 states, it's called grandparents' rights.
Yes, we have it here in California.
Okay, okay. So you know what I'm talking about. And they
Mr.
still
Davis knows exactly what you're talking about because if you guys listen to his YouTube channel,
yeah,
where it's Stanford University,
yeah.
Harvard
Harvard?
University.
Okay.
He spoke in Harvard University, and he was talking about his life
Mm-hmm.
and how his mother was removed from him because she couldn't speak English. It happened during the war, and that's how his dad met her.
Oh,
And they
wow.
gave custody to his dad, and his dad gave him to his grandmother to raise.
Oh.
So Mr. Davis knows exactly how it is to divide a child from their mom. Davis, you know, he said in Harvard that he became an attorney to help parents
Mm-hmm.
because he felt the pain every night not
Wow.
being around his mom. His mother came in his life when he was, I think he was in law school. And even though his dad and his grandma kept him away from, and the system kept
Yeah.
him away from his mom,
Mm-hmm.
she still was there. She still
Yeah.
saw his games. He didn't know. She still saw him at school graduation. He didn't know it was his mom. She was in
Wow.
disguise. So basically, he couldn't believe that she was still there. So, anyways, they reunited, and she became his everything. So,
Wow.
grandparents' rights. He understands. He understands how it is being away from your mother. Mother's love to a child, you guys, it's a connection that the mother has from conception,
Yeah.
and it's a connection that God gave us. That gift, it's a good gift. That's why when mothers destroy their own body, um, by distracting them away from this important gift that God gave them, it hurts me.
Yeah.
And oftentimes I see women uh, doing a lot of drugs and neglecting their children is because somebody introduced them to drugs.
Yeah.
What they do is they put things in their drinks, or they inject them with something, or they date the wrong guy, and that
Right.
guy does something to them because he works for the cartels and sex trafficking ring and all that.
Yeah.
You have to be careful who you entertain, you guys. You
Yeah.
guys, please, I'm begging you, do not bring anyone in your life. I'm talking about anyone who's age enough to date. Don't think these young boys are innocent. These young boys' dad works for the cartel. He
Yeah.
works for the sex trafficking rings who
That's right.
assign their children to go date other girls to either hook you on drugs or take you away, period, and sex traffic your ass.
Yeah.
Okay?
You got to be careful.
Be careful who you entertain.
Mm-hmm.
Dating is not like it used to be, because dating will hurt your future, your present, and your whole entire
Life.
life if you
Mm-hmm.
don't choose wisely.
Yeah.
Okay?
That's why I tell my daughters, I said,
Yeah.
listen, you got to know the father, but know his whole family. You got to know the whole family, because if you don't know what the background of the family is, you got yourself in a mess.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it happens all the
Think-
time. But these relationships that are built on the drug trafficking and sex trafficking and domestic violence, a lot of them start with, the girls they're looking for love. They're looking for love, these women. And then their kids get taken away because they went with the wrong man.
You know, my mom told me this once. She said you have to love yourself enough to love yourself when you're alone in order for you to have a relationship with someone.
That's right.
Because if you don't respect and love yourself while you're alone, you won't be able to accept love from someone else because
That's
you're
right.
abusing yourself.
Yeah.
You're going to attract an abuser.
You got to love you first. She's right. You gave me chills.
Yeah, that's so important
That's
to understand
beautiful.
that.
You had a good mom. You have a good mom.
I had good parents when I tell
Yeah.
you that. Yeah, my dad was, oof, I love my father so much. I was his little shadow. Uh,
Oh.
he couldn't get me off his leg. I was like, no, daddy, no, daddy. A lot of people say, oh, yeah, that's spoiling. I said, no, that's not spoiling.
That's
When you
love.
spoil with things, that's spoiling.
Yeah.
But when you spoil with love, that's not spoiling, that's love.
That's
That's
right.
how you know what love is. That's how
That's
you
right.
know how a man should treat a woman is by you see the way you see your dad
That's
treating
right.
you,
That's right.
right? The way your mother treats your dad is how you know that's how you should be treated. So yes,
Mhm.
I could be picky and who I want in my life, but
Yeah.
that's because I deserve to be picky.
Yeah.
Okay? So if you don't know your worth, you're going to attract the wrong person in your life.
That's right. I've been there. I've been there, done that.
We
And
all have. Yep.
one day, I will share with you that I was in foster care in California. I grew up in California. I was
Mhm.
in 6 different foster homes, and I was raped and brutally raped in a foster home, and it devastated my entire life. Was I just wanted to commit suicide. I did ask them to remove me from the home, and my foster mother took me to child welfare and dropped me off with a box of clothes, and they put me in another home, and I never was the same again. So I have somewhat understanding of how the system fails and how the system is broken and how it tried to break me. And that's where my strength comes from, to fight and to help other victims.
Yep.
And because they keep re-victimizing women,
Yeah.
and it has to stop.
They victimize men too. You know
Yes.
how? They victimize men, fathers, when they love their wives.
Yes.
They victimize them. But if the father is abusive to his wife and his kids, and he hates his wife, they're going to give the kids to him.
Isn't that crazy?
Mhm.
That is you're right.
Why do I call them demonic? A demon wants to steal, devour, and conquer. In order for
Yeah.
you to conquer a family, you
Yeah.
have to steal from the family, meaning you have to divide the family.
Right. Right.
So the social workers will go to your aunt and uncle and siblings and say, Nicole said that you're a bitch.
Right.
Nicole
It's not even
said
true.
that you touched her on her boob when she was 5 years old. Nicole said, and then the uncle is like, what the fuck? Nicole said, what?
Like, I
Right?
never said that.
And the uncle goes, well, Nicole does drugs and da 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 da, and let me show you a
Right.
picture of her. Look, this is her, drinking, and look, she has her top down, and I have to tell her not to do that. See, that's how they get the siblings, right?
Wow.
That's how they trick you. They
They
lead
turn them
you
against
to
each other.
Yes, they lead you to think Nicole said this, just like the devil. He
Yeah.
makes you think God did this to you. God said, nah, I didn't do this to you because I warned you. I sent the people warning you not to do that.
Yeah.
And you did it. It's your choice, right?
Mhm.
But come back to me and I will carry your burdens. We don't
Right.
do that. We don't do that. So again, the devil wants you to think God is to blame, just like the social workers is putting thoughts in your head that your Nicole daughter said this about you. Your niece, I mean, said this about you.
Yeah. Right. Right.
Think about it. Or they will go to you and say, your daughter is not a good woman. She said this about you. Did that happen in your case where they said your daughter said something about you that wasn't true?
They did. They did. They also turned my son-in-law against my daughter, and she
Yep.
wants to marry him. And then they turned her against him, and they played such a trickery that her lawyer put it in the documentation when the judicial. I mean, when she said you're out of your jurisdiction, she put that they used trickery to continue to keep the case and turn family against family. And
Yeah.
I have that document. Yeah,
You know what? I want to see that part. And also, I
I'm
want
gonna
you
send it to
to,
you.
thank you, email it to me. You have my email address.
Yes, I do.
I want you also to keep it to keep in mind. I want your son-in-law to listen to that part, what I just mentioned, that because the
Definitely.
reason I'm saying that, because I say this in every show, I swear, because I know a lot of people don't watch all my shows, and I found myself repeating because oftentimes people watch the show right there and then.
Yeah.
And I want them to understand that if they turn you against your family, even your mother-in-law from hell,
Yeah.
they will make sure she hates you twice as much.
That's right. That's right.
Um, but if you a wise mother-in-law, which I'm sure some mother-in-laws are not, especially if your son is the parent, you hate your daughter-in-law. Oftentimes, I see mother-in-laws who is their son, the paternal mother-in-laws.
Mm-hmm.
They hate their daughter-in-law, and I don't know why. For the love of God, I have no idea
Me
why.
neither.
The paternal mother-in-law always loves her son-in-law. I've
Yeah.
seen the maternal mother-in-law treat their son-in-law like, my daughter doesn't exist, you exist, I love you so much.
And
That's
you
how
know
it
what?
works.
We fought as a
Yeah,
team together. Me and
yeah,
my son-in-law to be, and my
yeah,
daughter became a team, a family. Every day we were
yeah,
together. Every day.
yeah. So you guys have to be careful with this shit. Please keep the family together. Put aside your differences about your
Yeah.
daughter-in-law, for the love of God, because at the
Yes.
end, the child is going to suffer. The social workers will always tell you what, Nicole, Treasure. The
Yeah.
social worker will say what? Oh, the child will be placed with your mom. Yeah, just give me your mom's information. We're gonna do a house check and blah 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 blah. Then
They're
they're gonna
lying.
come back and they're gonna say, "Well, we tried." And then what
Yeah.
happened was we found a record on your mom from blah 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 blah. Did you guys know that there's a new law in California that passed by Nancy Skinner that
Hmm.
states that any obstacles that hinders a placement of a child with a grandparent or siblings that was decades old is no longer
Almost like a
allowed.
statue of limitation. There has to be some type of. They
No,
had
no,
to
no, no.
create it.
If no, the law states if they pose no current threats,
Yeah.
then yeah. If because oftentimes you have a grandparent that stole from Costco, right?
Yeah.
Then now he was 17, for example. Then that man goes to college and becomes a freaking congressman.
Yeah.
Okay.
He changed his
Then
life.
all of a sudden, oh no, you have a record against you from when you were 17. Now you're 60 years old. No, we can't trust you.
Oh my
But
goodness.
then he poses no current threat. So guess what? They're using that as an excuse.
That's
Okay,
what they did to me.
there you go. So basically, just be aware. Again, Treasure is going to be with me tomorrow. Again,
Yes.
I don't know what the show is tomorrow. Oh Lord, I can't
That's
even.
okay.
What show
I'll be
is it?
there.
Oh, it's Relatives. Relatives fight CPS
Okay.
tomorrow. That would be perfect for you to
Yes.
talk to the relatives out there as well.
Yeah.
We're gonna talk about how we're gonna, you and I need to, and Stacy's gonna join us, like I said, but she's
Free.
helping people's lives. There you go. She's
Yeah. Thank
saving
God.
people's lives. Thank God for her. Actually, I really
Yes.
do thank God for her. But she will be joining us. For those of you that know Stacy, and she will come back. I think she said she has 2 weeks off. Yeah, she's gonna
Okay.
start doing it with us. But you're still gonna be on the show, Treasure. Okay.
Thank you. Thank you so
Um,
much. I appreciate you. I appreciate everything. I'm learning so much from you and from Vincent, even though I never met him. I'm learning a lot from Vincent Davis's YouTube channels, all of his podcasts and his books I'm reading. Thank you.
Thank you for joining me today, and thank you for accepting my invite because I did invite you to be a
I
co-host,
appreciate it.
and I love that.
Anytime.
Yeah, and I'm glad you're here actually.
Me too.
And today it took a little longer again because we had two of you, and I
Yes.
wanted you to have your turn. But
Thank you.
then since you're going to be the co-host with me, then you're going to have chance to talk about it every day.
Yeah.
So you know what I mean? Like
Yes.
you can bring little pieces here and there to help other grandparents in your shoes
Yes.
to what they did, what not to do, right? And
Yes.
what to do. I think
There's a
that would
lot.
help a lot of grandparents out there, especially
There's a lot. Hmm.
yeah. Okay.
Yes. Thank you.
Thank you. I will see you tomorrow, same time.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye,
Okay.
everyone. God bless you all. And
God
I'll be
bless
praying
you.
for you. And stay safe out there. God bless. Bye bye.